And then
What? It looks better. Yeah.
Okay, learn something new every day. Yeah. And so, it's like popcorn, sorry, popcorn. I guess I'll do it upside down. We're all gonna go along.
I'm not sold yet.
Taking upside down pictures now.
Wow, I switched to the video. There we go. Got it. I did it.
Well, they won very well.
Okay,
I'm not sure, I'm not sure I'm sold yet. Thank you. Adrian, I appreciate it very much.
Hey, you, thank you for the snack. All the things.
That is a little popcorn.
You told me to try them now.
They're so good. Now my grandkids, I give them to my grandkids, and I never ate them.
Oh,
Like, that is.
so much chocolate.
Yes.
I had never had them.
No, I never ate them, like, I just got them, my daughter's like, get these for them, I'm like, oh, okay. I got them for everyone else. Last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm definitely now, I'm gonna have my own stash. So when they come in the house.
So you brought snacks to an open house? I'm doing my first one this Thursday, which is why I'm staying for that, but I didn't even think about snacks.
So,
None of this.
so this was the house where I knew everything about. Or actually, I was pretty sure, and there was. But generally speaking, I feel like, there's some people who prefer, you know, the places. It's like having the water bottle, you put it in.
Yeah.
But I got
Send them to me whenever you have a chance to.
Like, things are cookies and then hard things are dropping crap.
Right, exactly. Well, that was one of my concerns. Renee, how are you? Yeah. And then they can take them with them if they didn't finish.
What do you do?
Oh, got you.
That's awesome. Just over a month.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you know who
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, second.
Oh, okay.
We waited to find out until she was born.
Okay.
Oh, could never do that.
By like, she's really feel like stickers are clear.
Surprised.
Yeah, Avery,
It's like
and then
surprised you have a flat tire. Surprised something went wrong, like surprised you have a, so it was really exciting. But really hard.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
thanks a lot for coming.
Yeah.
Before you're about to go into labor, you're here listening to me.
Oh, yeah, cause you're gonna be here so long, you're gonna, yeah, I know. People are funny about that.
So, and it hasn't been really hot. So it works out.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Okay.
Good seeing you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
But then there was little kids and I was like, oh, that's nice.
Very good to meet you. Yes, thank you.
Sharing, I've heard of
Thanks,
that,
Jeff.
the health
Appreciate it.
sharing before, so I appreciate you.
Yeah.
My husband has business runs of his, so I'm with him right now, but
Yeah.
when that changes that.
You know anyone that's benefit from it?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know,
sure.
the one thing,
Different companies, but I can't remember who it was.
because of the timing, I didn't want to talk to you, so I left a few things out. But the one thing that is important to look with health sharing is some of them, they don't pay very quickly.
I'm trying to figure out who does it right now.
Not all of them, but there are a lot of them out there that their aim is to slow pay and hoping they can get it into collection. So it's unit them, so they can pay you less, which is so scary. Impact is generally, once they get the bill, it's within 14, 15 days they pay, which is about as fast as it can get paid.
Oh, yeah.
Not much faster. Usually they're around maybe twice as long.
Yeah.
Or longer, depending on, you know, a lot of times, especially if my wife is a pharmacist, those pharmacies, they kill waiting for reimbursements from insurance companies. the worst. But anyway, if I can be of any help, I don't know that. I'm gonna get out of here soon. I can let the next.
I used to work with Bill. Carlisle.
Okay. Supposed to do it. Yeah, he's not here. He didn't.
Yes, thank you very much. Flemington? Okay.
Oh, is it Kenny?
Yeah, that's probably about an hour from me. I'm near like New Brunswick,
Great, now I get to.
Bridgewater, Somerville, what area, you know, where they are.
More like a.
Right, you're, oh, I remember, yeah. Thank you very much.
Not at all. No, Eric has a wealth of knowledge. Yeah, we were in the same boat team, my very first boat.
You're missing the mustache from the picture.
I know, but I got his eyes, right?
There you go.
Oh my God. All right, are we ready to get started?
Oh, well.
Panelists, do you need anything else? Do you need an actor? Casual. Paper towel? I almost feel like.
Yes.
Uh-huh. I almost feel like we could have done like round table.
Ooh.
It's not a good idea. We have a small group today.
When Shannon took over the meeting, she had us there, like in a circle, she set the tables out.
Everybody's like, do I want to move
No.
things? I know, like how quickly. Or would I just totally disrupt everyone? It feels disruptive, but good to know for future practice. So we're here today to learn about open houses. And for a long time, open houses were getting a bad rap. I remember when I got into the business, I would ask about open houses because that's what you see on HGTV and in movies, right? And I would be told, open houses are a waste of time. They don't sell homes. Like, have you heard this before? Has anybody heard some of those things before? And then when I started to attend bigger events like Mega Camp Family Reunion, when I came to KW and I learned about the right way to host an open house, that open houses, although can be used to help sell the house, are actually a win-win in the sense that they're also supposed to help you generate, business for yourself. So I want to make sure that nobody gets the same bad advice that I had when I entered real estate. And so we have two lovely ladies up here today that are going to teach us on their open house strategies. Because there really is, the trick to an open house is you can't just show up with a plate of cookies and put a sign in the yard and hope that it's going to work for you. There's madness behind the system. And if you work the system well, it'll help you build a big business. So I'm gonna just start with the first question and then.
Questions? Oh, gosh. Y'all are just running the wall.
And that's okay. So here's the rule about my questions is they are only here as a guide.
Okay, good.
But I love it when the conversation, like if you're hitting all the key points, I'll just keep kind of digging into it. I'd rather it be authentic and it be what you all need. But this just keeps me on track if I need it. Is that fair?
Mhm.
So for the first question is, what do you do to prepare for an open house to maximize the turnout to ensure that it really does bring in leads and not just nosy keepers?
You wanna go first? I can go first.
I can go, it's just fine. Usually what I do, is I work off of Shannon's idea of the reverse prospecting. So I will go through the reverse prospecting on the MLS and I will send an individualized email to every agent that received the property in the last couple of days. Those are my priority. If there's not a ton, then I try to send to everyone, but sometimes you have hundreds. And then I will also follow up with a text message to that agent and say, hey, I just wanted to let you know, I send the homes.com, which the KW isn't as easy, so I'll send the homes.com listing with a chat GPT texted like, hey, we have an open house, if you get just send your client and tell them to write your name, so it doesn't sound like I'm trying to take their buyer. So it makes it a little more friendly, when they can sign in and go, well, this is my agent, I can, cool, great. So that's how I try and get foot traffic.
I love that. So essentially reverse prospecting and you're reaching out to other agents in the local area. I love that strategy. How about you?
So the opposite of reverse prospecting, we do circle prospecting in the neighborhood. So we like to hit as many neighbors as we possibly can in a certain radius. Typically it's like a 5 mile radius. If we can get 100 people on the phone, then that's great, right? We'll call that a win. So we call them, just let them know that there's an open house. We even do that before. We'll just say, hey, if you know your neighbor's moving, we're gonna have an open house on whatever date that is. We would love to meet you and also bring someone that you may know that you would like to move into the area. That's typically what we do.
I love that, like, would you like to
Yeah,
choose your neighbor
yeah.
as a strategy?
Yeah.
Does everybody understand reverse prospecting and circle prospecting?
I don't.
Which one would you like us to go deeper on?
Well, so I'm doing my first open house this week, and I'm doing it with Dauphin.
Congratulations.
So you're saying you can go on MLS and find people, so we're doing it the same day it goes active. So there will already be agents who got information.
Yes, if it's, are you putting it in the coming soon for, like it's on
Yes, if
MLS?
you're coming
Yes.
soon. then-
Yeah, so when you go into you pull up your listing, if it's on, is it on your MLS or Bills? Like, can you log
We're
into it?
co-listed.
Cool, so when you log into that at the bottom, it'll say reverse prospecting, and you can
Oh.
click on that, and it'll give you a huge list of every agent
Okay.
that has a search set up for one of our clients. The only drawback to reverse prospecting is you have to do individually for each. Like, you can't do a bulk email, which isn't terrible, and again, I chat
Sure.
GPT that too, and I'm like, hey, write me a quick email. And it usually has like emojis and stuff that
Okay.
tend to draw attention, and it gives you a number. It doesn't give you the name of the client, but it gives you the number, and you can write, hey, Bill, I saw a client number, da, 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 got this today. And then they can easily find who that was. You're kind of doing their job for them,
Mm-hmm,
but it also brings people to your list.
excellent. And then what you were talking about, you would do a search in that neighborhood, you get a list of people.
Yeah, so we use PropStream. That's what we use. So we're able to get all the contacts for all the neighborhoods. We use PropStream for a lot of things, because we like to invest in properties as well. But we also noticed that we can do it to get, contact information for a neighborhood. You can use Mojo, you can use, I think, RedX. There's so many different, systems out there for you to get the contact information. But we just like to use that one. Yeah,
Great.
and then we'll just make phone calls.
Mhm.
I am gonna have Adrian email out to everybody. We did do a training on reverse prospecting where Shannon actually shows you how she goes into Bright and does this. So I'll make sure everybody gets that video. So that way if you need kind of more of a step by step, you have that visual to help you. And then as far as circle prospecting, I haven't thought of that one.
Falcon 7 is another system.
Yeah,
Okay.
Mojo, you typically have to have some type of,
Subscription.
yes, subscription, and you can give it an address, and it'll kind of give a radius around that address. White pages, you can get, it would be a much tougher way to do it, because it's just gonna give you names and numbers, but in no order. So. But I'll make sure she sends that, because it definitely relates. Any other questions so far? Yes, Andrew.
Are you guys running any kind of ad campaigns at all for your open houses?
No, we don't. I know there's some people that do, but we don't. No, we noticed that doing our circle prospecting and then just simply putting up the directionals and actually doing videos, you don't have to put money behind it, so far.
Yeah.
A win for us is if we can get at least 25 people through the door, that's a win for us, right?
Yeah,
We do that by doing those 3 things.
Okay. As far as, door knocking or anything like that, or, canvassing the neighborhood at all? Anything
So
like
we
that?
do it, the idea, but no, but there's a lot of people that do it.
We've
I don't
done
know,
it.
okay.
We put out a flyer and, at least at the main street. And we've gotten, maybe not listings, but we've helped clients that like, needed evaluations like the states, like their parents passed away, so it forms a relationship. We've gotten business from door knocking. And I'll probably trigger my brain the thought that I had lost, when you are reverse prospecting, you're also building relationships with those agents, which will help you in the future.
Mhm.
Whether you need to get your offer accepted, They'll start to understand, like, who's this new guy, right? If you're a little newer to the industry, it goes such a long way. So I love that. So we get past the marketing, we're at the open house. What are your go-to questions or conversations during the open house that help you identify serious buyers or even potentially future sellers?
What are some questions that we ask? Ooh. So, you're probably not gonna like this. We don't have a set of questions. Why? It's because we like to build relationships with people. We don't say what's bringing you in the door today or anything like that. It's typically, the way we have it staged up, it draws conversation, right? So we'll have a stand, so it looks all official. We'll have this, what's it called?
Diana?
A banner, thank you. Yeah, we'll have a banner, it says, welcome to our open house. We'll have the snacks, we'll have the drinks, we'll have music playing. So it almost feel like it's a party. So we're like, oh, this is really nice. So thank you so much. Yeah, you know, and then we'll just start that conversation. We literally, well, we know, when it comes down to, once we figure out, okay, we built rapport with them, then we'll ask them the question, so how many offers have you written so far? Because we want to know if they're actually being represented, but no one wants to hear, so who are you working with? Because they're just gonna say whoever. But we allow our questionnaire on our stand to ask the questions that we need to know to help our sellers, as well as possibly get a connection or contact information for us to follow up.
A questionnaire, is it a paper pen questionnaire?
No, it's literally a podium on our iPad. Again, we're all about approachable luxury feel. So we have a podium with our iPad, we have questions. It's we just changed our vendor. We were using the Open House Pro, I believe it is, but we changed our vendor. I can let you guys know who it is because it was free. And it's just literally a sleek, slick looking,
Like a form? like
yeah, contact form, but it has a picture of the house and it has these, you know, set up with these really nice questions that they'll answer. Would you like most about it? Would you like least about it? You know, even asking how long have you been looking? The questions that we want to ask them, we'll keep that so we can continue the conversation.
I love
If
that.
makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, so it's really nice. I went to your secretary open houses. As an
Oh,
agent, I
yeah.
appreciate it. It was nice because it was, you know, you didn't go in and feel intimidated by like the other agent was there. If you came in as an agent with your client, you had the option, like they asked me to fill it out because they just wanted to look. And I was like, okay, cool. You know, so it was a nice option because we could answer that as well. So like, hey, I'm answering for the client, but it was
Yeah.
easy to use.
Yeah.
I love that. So building a relationship, having an easy to use sign-in sheet, essentially, whatever works for you, but it's lead capture
Mhm.
is what it is. It's lead capture.
So you're doing more of a feedback form than an actual sign-in sheet.
Correct, yeah, we create experience in such a way that people want to answer the question because
Yeah.
they just felt like, oh, they will love the red carpet, ooh, you know, that kind of thing.
Are you offering any kind of are you doing any kind of like a drawing or anything like that, or do you entice them with anything? Or it's just a come
You know,
in,
it's
sign?
just like, come on in, have some fun.
You notice you have people that are reluctant to sign, click, type. Are there people that are like, I don't want anyone to call me, so I'm not gonna fill anything? How do you handle that?
We have, I use just a regular, sign-in sheet, and that is an option. It's like I do not want to be contacted. However, when I ask them to sign in, I'll say, hey, you know, look around, we would love, I kind of put on the seller, I'm like, hey, we just want to know like how many people came through their house to show that like I was here, to see how much traffic was coming through, and the answers are, yes, I work with an agent, no, I don't have an agent, I'm just looking, or please don't contact me. And I'm like, hey, that's wonderful, you can just put your first and last name, I promise to, respect your option. I just need to present the information back, and a lot of times they go, oh, okay, like, that's fine. And if it's a fake name, I don't care, it was just the understanding of, thank you for doing what I asked, whether it's real or not. But I do get a lot of feedback, and one thing I started doing is I print out a whole, stack of blank buyer agency contracts. And that's like my gateway of asking if they're working with anyone. And how they came in today, or if they have an agent. I was like, great, even if you don't work with me, let me help you understand what has changed in the market. So as you move forward from here, you'll see this again. So read over and read questions, make sure you advocate for yourself when you meet another agent, make sure they understand and talk to you about fees, and they go, oh. And a lot of times I get a phone number or email and ask to have another conversation. Whether they work with me or not, I feel like I've done them a service moving forward with someone else that they can advocate for themselves.
I love that. So your strategy is providing value. And then if they don't have an agent, they're gonna feel appreciative that,
Right.
hey, these are the things that you need to watch out for.
Yeah, I try and do I'm not trying to push anything on you. When you move forward, make sure that you are educated with the next person you're working with, if it's not me.
I love that. So if you just take this step further and tell us kind of your setup as well from step one.
Yeah, I'm working on it still, but what I do is I get I'm kind of like a dollar store. So I go to the dollar store and I get like the dollar store balloons. And I always put snacks for kids. I don't always entice snacks for the adults. I get the small water bottles, gummies, chocolate. Because a lot of the price range that I'm in, they have kids and they usually have to bring them with them. Or if it is adults, I go, I had this open house. I'm sorry I did it over dinner, but here's something to hold you over until we can, eat dinner. So I do the snacks and it's usually right in front. And I say, hey, take it with you throughout the house, totally fine. With the sign-in sheet included. And then I kind of just back off a little bit. I give a little information about the house and I go, I don't want to be a used car salesman or furniture, because everyone has had that experience when they walk in, but what do you want? Well, everyone knows you want a house. So I try not to overwhelm them with there's like a million questions in front of the door. And then they usually end up coming back with a question or two like, hey, what happened in that bedroom? Or I'll set up something funny. Did you see that in a place? Oh yeah, thanks for pointing it out. And then it just starts a conversation. So I try and the relationship wise as well. I don't know, I try to be a little sneaky. I don't know, or tactical. Yeah.
It's a totally different word and it's much more positive.
I love that. So how do you then, what's your follow-up process? So the open house is over. What is your follow-up process to get that lead conversion?
I ask permission to send a text message to follow up.
Okay.
If they've left their phone number, if they left an email, I ask permission to send them an email the next day. Because a lot of times they go, oh, I'll have to think about it, which I know is the typical tagline is, oh, I have to talk to my husband about it. That's, I'm not interested. But when they open that door, I kind of walk through it and say, great, you left your phone number. Is it okay if I message you the next day or so to see how your conversation went after you left? Whether they respond or not, but my contact is still in their phone because they gave me permission to text them, or same thing with the email. They gave me permission to email, and now they have, I've made contact after.
Do you have a follow-up plan further than that? So if they don't respond, do you have a system to continually follow up with them on the road?
I do. I put a calendar or a Google Calendar reminder on. I usually do 2 weeks. Might be too long. But I do 2 weeks just to follow up and say, hey, I haven't heard from you. I hope all is well. If there's anything I can provide for you, any questions you might have. How about you?
So depending on how warm the lead is right after the open house, I wish Harris was here because I want to know if he does this, but I'll say, we send out a video, because we'll have the text message and we'll send out a video, hey, it's such a pleasure meeting you, and I was just thinking about something that you had said, whatever it was, right? And, did you know, and I'll bring something that's related to that, just to get them, just to make it more sticky. And most times they're like, oh my gosh, you were so great, or you're so sweet, or whatever. So they'll want to hear from us again, right? So those are just the immediate warm contacts that we built up a really good rapport. We're sending them a text message because everyone likes to see a video, and hear a personal message. So we do that. And then our system that we have, it automatically connects to command. So we're able to do a drip campaign that way, just to stay in contact with them. Yeah.
What system is that you're using?
So it's new.
Okay.
So the one we were using was Open Home Pro. I can find out, I can send it to you
I would
all.
love that.
Yeah, Spacio,
Yeah.
sorry, Spacio is what we were using before. But this one, it might be Open Home Pro now.
Okay.
Is it Zapier group?
Yeah, Zapier, yep,
Okay.
ever seen Zapier.
I love
Okay.
that.
Yeah, we'll send a recap email.
Yeah,
That has all this in it.
Mhm.
I love that.
Yeah, it's really slick. So if you have an iPad or even on your computer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
One thing, I love that you have that follow-up system. My best year in real estate before I stepped into leadership, most of my clients that I closed with, I think I did 43 deals that year. And most of those deals were people that I had been nurturing for 2 years.
Oh, wow.
So I'm saying that so you know, like, if, just because they don't respond the first week, 2 weeks, 6 months, like they went on a drip after so many weeks. If I didn't hear from them, I would stay in touch every quarter, and just send them something of value. And you would be surprised, like, all of a sudden I would get a phone call and I'd be like, who? And I was like, oh my gosh, I think they're on my database.
Yeah.
And that's where they came from. So just don't lose hope. Just keep, when they're ready, they will respond. You know, unless they say, do not call me anymore. But I have to be honest, that was so rare. Like, for every 100 people that I was calling, I maybe have one person ask me to stop. So just keep that in mind, like that follow-up, that's where Zillow is so good at their job. They make billions of dollars because we suck at following up. Like, when you think about it, like that's where they built their business, is in the part of the system that we as realtors typically drop the ball. So the follow-up is just as important as the pre-marketing. Otherwise you did all that grunt work for nothing, in my opinion. So, side note, I'll get off my pedestal now. Open houses, what didn't I ask you that I should have asked? What's something that you would love to share with the room about your system and strategy with open houses to help you get more business?
A lot of times we see open houses as allowing potential buyers to come through the door, but a lot of times there's potential sellers. They're gonna see how you have everything set up, and they'll actually give you a call like, hey, I saw you at ABC, Market Street. And, we love the way you presented it. If there's a seller that's into open houses, you better believe they're gonna be canvassing to see who's doing a really good job at it. So you're cultivating buyer leads for that particular house, but no, you're always on. And it's potential sellers that are looking at you as well. Yeah, and by doing your circle prospecting, like, oh my gosh, this is so great, thanks for calling. So how much is the house for, right? The person that's asking that question, they have a vested interest for whatever reason, whether they want to protect the value of their neighborhood, or they may be thinking about selling themselves. Would it be helpful if I send you over a home valuation, so you can see how much your house could sell for today? They may not want it for anything, but just knowing that, hey, they know that you have the tools to give them what they're looking for is something that is a value, yeah.
One thing that I've noticed that I'm getting a lot more, traction on is Twilight open houses. Like, you guys are coming soon with it's active with your open house. I've got a lot of traction with that too, especially as the weather warms up, if you do like a 5 to 7 on like a Thursday night. And then obviously talk to your client that I might get busy over the weekend. Hopefully that would be the plan, is you start off with the Twilight from 5 to 7 on a Thursday. And then hopefully it books the weekend up with, showings, and hopefully have a result by the end of Sunday. But we're getting a lot of traction with that, because people are starting to spend their weekends at sporting events, or they're going away. Holidays are coming up. So the end of the week is usually a good time to come start the Twilight open house.
I love that you mentioned that, just because, open houses used to only be Sundays from 1 to 3. Like, you are the agent, you're running your business. Chick-fil-A succeeds and they are not open on Sundays. So you do not have to be open on Sundays. If you market well, people will come. And there's definitely those other options. I personally would rather work a Thursday night than on my Sunday.
I think a lot of agents that respond to like, cool, I'm busy, but I will send my client on a Thursday night, because it's usually when we do our showings. So that's where the reverse prospecting comes in. It's like, hey, I'll be there, let me know their name, or vice versa, and we'll make sure that they're taken care of for you.
And I'm sure that looks great to the client when you're like, oh, you're Jane Doe. Yes, I just talked to Steve. He let me know that you were gonna come today. If you have any questions, I'm here to help, or you can go through Steve. He has my number. Like, now the right hand knows what the left hand is doing, and we appear to be the real professionals. I love that.
So true.
You have questions.
Most people I
know their day is Saturday. Do you guys have like any, advice or I guess like in success if we had a open houses on Saturday that they were like? If we do them on Saturday?
It depends on how well you market it. Like if I had my way, like seriously, the video that my son and I did back and forth with the one to have open house, I'm so serious when I say if I had my way, it'd be Thursday and Saturday for every single house that we have. And he's proponent of just having it on Thursday evening, right? But as long as you market it, like Brittany said, you're gonna get the people coming through the door. It's those that say, yeah, I wanna have an open house, put in the MLS, know it's gonna syndicate to all these places, but do nothing else, then you're just wishing and hoping that everyone sees it. You can't do that. So what you put into it, what you get out of it.
And Instagram and Facebook Live are good. Like if you go 30 to 45 minutes before the open house, if the client is able, like you can have a free ad to catch as many people as they know are online, walking through the house, like show your favorite parts, if it has a pool and it's hot out. I mean, I don't have like the best of listings, I have like lower ones, but anyway, like even just going through and pointing out like, oh, it has a nice eating space, or the quiet neighborhood, you can walk outside of the yard. Just gaining people's attention. If their phone goes off and it says, oh, so-and-so is live, they're gonna look at it, whether they're looking at a house or not. So you're either bringing attention back to your name for what you do, or they might know someone or might be interested and will come to the open house.
And we do it so small in Central PA. You go to different regions of the United States, they're having food trucks, they're having clowns set up, they're having mini amusement parks. So the sky's the limit. Like if you want people to come, right, knowing that when they come, they're gonna have a good time, oh, by the way, they may wanna buy this house or bring somebody that wants to, then do it. Like we have donut trucks, we have taco trucks, we have, I mean, there's so many, whatever you can think of. Like I think we do it so small in Central PA. There's a lot of room for improvement. I really do.
Mega Camp last year, one of the teams, that spoke, that was their entire lead gen strategy and they had one open house every week of the year. And it was a mega open house, so it was an event.
Yeah.
And they would, when people would show up, they would literally say, are you here for the food truck or the open house or both? And there are people who could just do the food truck, but think of that exposure. They were branded as, the food truck team. And they sold a crap ton of houses because sellers wanted to work with them because they knew that they made it an event. And like you would get neighbors to come and it's not about selling the house. It really is about helping you build your business, and it's why going to events like that is so helpful. I'm not trying to do a plug here for Mega Camp in August, but I mean, we're here, so we're gonna talk about it. Erica, we're doing it so small in Central PA. The only way you get exposed to those bigger ways of thinking are to go to events like that, so you can take those ideas and bring them here to implement.
So basically there's opportunity.
Tons of opportunity.
There's an agent that I follow in Chambersburg on Facebook. She's not a KW agent, and that's okay. It's okay, she's not KW, and yet I still follow her. And she, now I'm almost afraid with it. Yesterday she had an open house at a really nice property, and she did 2 different videos leading up to the open house. I know more about this house than anything else I remember on Facebook from the last week. She had the Meadows ice cream there. She had, I think Texas Roadhouse. I am going to call her and find out how many people showed up at her open house just because I'm really, really curious. I wanted to be there. Like I had this FOMO, just like, dang, the videos she shot were really cool. It just looked like, if I didn't have anything to do tonight, I was gonna go hang out. Like, 'cause it looked like she made it a lot of fun. So yeah, I think we have an opportunity to, and maybe that's not feasible for every open house, but girl did it good. She did it really, really good.
One of the books I read is called The Economy, which was, and I got the book recommendation from going to Mega Camp. One of the speakers was the author of that book, and in the book it talks about what different generations and what appeals to them. What's awesome about the market that we're in is for the first time ever, we actually have 5 generations actively buying and selling in the same market. So understanding what each of them want is really important. A lot of us millennials are in the move up stage. Millennials value experiences. So they're gonna go to an open house that's an experience over an open house that just has the sign in the park. So just think about that too, like what's gonna attract them. Cause I'll be honest, I just moved a couple weeks ago. If you would have asked me a year ago if I was gonna be moving, I would have told you absolutely not. I thought I was in my forever home. So things change and like all it takes sometimes is an experience to help open your eyes and be like, oh my gosh, maybe I do want this. So just tying it back to that, like, yeah, I wanna go there. I love food trucks, gluten-free, dairy-free, has killed my love of food trucks. But I would go just for that.
I can see you doing a big Brittany.
I need to make more money for.
You add it,
Well, and I
right?
guess just because, I mean, well, I guess most food trucks do have a minimum, but just because the food truck's there, doesn't mean you have to pay for it, right?
If
just-
you,
Yeah, sponsors,
You just,
100%.
yeah,
Yeah.
It sounds silly, but I've gotten more business off of Buntini's than anything in the world, and, well, I haven't done, I did it to be nice at first, because I think we talked a little bit about this, in one of the group sessions that we had for the 75 card, I was like afraid to talk to people, because I felt like I was being pushy. So what I did is, though, I saw like the nurse at my girls' school was having a hard time, so I was trying to be nice, and I was like, here, I'll just drop off Buntini's, and I felt bad because the secretary always has to mark my kids absent when I forget. So it's like, thank you for like making sure my ducks are not pigeons, and here's for keeping them in a row. And I did that, and then she's like, wait, what do you do again? And then I said, I'm in real estate, and she's like, oh. And I did it quarterly, and the second time I went in, she's like, hey, can you talk? And now she's working with a lender, and unfortunately, this is a situation like it's not great, but, we've continued the relationship, and every time I go in, more people come out of their offices, not only because they have the Buntini's, but they're like, hey, I wanted to talk to you, I had this question, nothing has been, I wanna buy or sell, but it's the connecting that I do real estate, and they feel comfortable enough to ask me a question regarding that. So it's $26 for a dozen Buntini's.
does everyone know what a Buntini?
I don't.
Oh, it's nothing one big, yeah,
I was gonna
you
say,
should find out.
mini ones? Is it
Oh,
like a mini?
It is.
One big?
You get a dozen Buntini's.
They're like cupcakes, it's like a cupcake.
They have one, they have something like that that's down in York that I just tried for the first
There's
time,
one
and they were outstanding.
It's so good. It's so good.
Yes, that is my go-to, and you can pick and choose, they have gluten-free.
Yep.
It's not as many flavors, but if you walk in with that polka dot box, people will remember that you were there. And sometimes if no one's there, I write inside, I open the lid and I say, I'm your favorite real estate agent, and I leave it. And then whether they think it's funny or not, my name is still connected with the Buntini's. And I walked into the school once without them, and they were like, where are they? And I was like, wow, is that how you see me?
yes.
But it started, it is, but it started a conversation, and now like, also in a small school, there are 7 different real estate agents that have kids that go to my school. However, I'm the Buntini lady.
Yes, you are. Do you use your Buntini's at open houses too?
I'm gonna start.
You
Yeah.
You should.
I'm gonna start.
And you should
Yeah.
actually, oh, you
Maybe-
should get little cupcake flags with like your, it just stick, oh. Oh, yeah. we got it.
So, but I mean, it's like, it's just a little thing, like for 20, it's just less than McDonald's realistically. And it, yeah.
I love that.
And back to Brittany, your point, you mentioned you have to sell more houses.
Yeah.
So one is you can always layer in. You don't have to go from a tray of cookies at the open house to multiple food trucks. Like just layer in a little at a time, as your budget allows, lead with revenue. And that also gives you opportunity to see like what's working and not working. Like what do people like without going all in and then at the end being like, huh, that didn't go as planned. Like, I wonder what it was that didn't work. It's hard to tell when you've gone from 0 to 100. Secondly, you're part of a team. And that's the beautiful thing when you're a part of a team. Both women up here you have team owner and then an agent on a team, that's what's great about being a part of the team, is oftentimes they have the back end and the budget to help you pull that, I would call it like an open house lever.
So you can do a micro event with your team at the open house. You have to have all the agents, have them pay for it.
Yeah, so they'll work with your preferred vendors.
Mhm.
Or
I was
sponsorships.
actually just about to call Angie, she had no idea, but
Yep.
like Angie, from your perspective as a lender, how have you helped or promote open houses?
So I've only gone to a couple, but like I'll go and bring like cost estimates for different loan programs so that people know, like, the house is more affordable than you might think. And then, you know, I talk about financing options and, you know, a lot of people still, for some reason, think that you need 20% down to buy a house, and that's not the case. So just being there to support them to make sure that people know, you know, even if they're just coming because they think, well, this house is out of my budget, it might not be.
Right, instead of looking at the house is $400,000,
Mhm.
look at, oh, can you afford this monthly payment? Most people live in the payment.
Mhm.
So if you can show them the payment, they can actually then realistically say, oh, yeah, that fits in my budget, or maybe not, but what other options could I have?
I was gonna do an open house with Angie twice.
I know, we tried and then they sold before.
Oh, so before. She's great. But it was also helpful when I was doing a post about it. It wasn't just like another, hey, open house. It was open house with a lender, bring your lending questions. Like, I thought that was just a different spin on the regular open.
So what was your takeaway? What did you learn?
From that. I mean, well, it sold before, they were just good properties, but it sold
So-
quickly.
The lesson is,
I don't know.
don't start with the open house. Don't let the property sell.
Yeah, that would be the other part.
Yes,
So you have open houses the day that you, the first showing, like, is that what yours?
So the one,
no, this is nothing.
Yeah.
no, the first one I did last year, I had 2 days that I did it actually, because I had a pretty good idea that it was gonna be busy, and it was. But I did a Friday and a Sunday.
Open house?
Mhm.
Okay.
And then the other
Were
one
they
I,
your first showing?
no, it was, I think Thursday was the first showing, but it still worked out, like, it still really worked out.
When I was a new.
And it was because of the timing of, just with the owner, like, it's, they're like, no, I really want Friday. I said, okay.
Yeah.
They just really thought Thursday wasn't gonna be it.
Okay, well, Friday can be your first showing.
Yeah, and then the other one, it was February, and it was cold, and I tried Thursday, and it was just,
You don't have to have Thursday.
But it was just- but that was when I-
Thursday. Everybody's on Thursday.
right.
Yeah, do a different day.
But that was, but it was, I had one person, which I potentially was going to be could have been a buyer. They walked through it, just didn't work, but, yeah, but I think that's the weather on that day. It just was not a good week in general.
Okay.
I remember I learned from Damaris, my very first, I was hoping she was gonna stay in better than that. My very, she did get a call, but
Recording call.
my very first listing I ever had by myself, wasn't educated enough on what open houses were and how they could be used. Yes, you have an open house to sell the property, but open houses are also to build your book of business if you're new. Like, it's people to put into your database. And she called me and she's like, why don't you have an open house? And I was like, well, I have 26 showings booked, like, why do I need an open house? She's like, well, because you need to build your business. And I was like, well, there's people that are booked, I can't just have an open house, like, it's all completely full. And she's like, you're the agent. If you wanna host an open house, you host an open house. And I was like, oh, so I was just so afraid of hurting other people's feelings. But back to the open house thing, it's like, even if it's a really nice listing, that could have brought you 3 or 4 potential buyers to help next week.
And then we tried again because it wasn't selling, and I was trying to get more activity, and then we finally got somebody and it worked. And it got done, and it was great, but.
We'll get one eventually.
Next one.
I love it. So some good ahas in the room. What did everybody take away from today? Just one thing that you might do differently or implement or dig into a little bit more.
I like Erica's banner. Everyone's looking for sales signs, but yours stands above everything else. Like, it draws you in, it's like, oh, what's happening?
And it helps them remember her. Like the more times they see Erica Rawls,
Yeah.
it'll ingrain in their brain, whereas like the one sign in the front, honestly, I don't remember those. You need to see it multiple times.
There's so many signs, there's roofer signs, there's landscaper signs, like they're different, but they're still just a sign of the difference.
Yeah,
Something that's exceptionally bigger.
yeah.
That's actually a good question with, like with the signs, so you have your banner, but do you do other signs outside of the?
The directional,
Like directional,
gray,
you know?
yellow with red, because everyone doesn't, they don't miss those. I don't use balloons. I don't, because there's a helium shortage. It really is. Yeah, so I, try to preserve the helium. Yes.
Sorry, Erica. I want you to lose your car.
The ones that don't need helium, but they're.
Yeah, well, Party City's done now, the dollar store, you have to set an order, like you have to call.
Oh, do you
want like a certain, I'm like, you know, yeah.
So I have a quick question. We were talking about 5 generation buying and selling. So that's a broad range of dress codes. And since this is my first one, like what kind of dress codes do the agents normally wear? I
What's your brand? I dress for your brand. It doesn't matter the house, what's your brand? Like, are you a casual person?
Yes.
Okay, then be casual.
I think how you're dressed right now, Steve, is appropriate.
Yeah.
Like 100%.
Yeah.
I've had high-end clients, like, I'll never forget it, I dressed up, cause I was like, all right, they're buying like a $700,000 to $1 million home, and they asked me, they were like, "Ryan, please don't dress up, we are off, and we want to feel like we're off, please wear jeans," and I was like, okay. So, your brand, you will attract people who relate to you. The only thing that I feel, and maybe Erica, tell me if I'm being old.
You're being old.
I can't handle the belly buttons being out.
Oh,
Yeah, so there's.
I've been
brand
seeing
and
that,
there's professional.
And I'm like,
Yeah, well, us men don't have many choices.
Really
You
young.
know, it's either a t-shirt or a
Bring it up,
dress
because
shirt.
I've been seeing it more lately, like not in our brokerage, but I'm going.
That's because Gen Zs are entering the workplace. I love my Gen Zs because I have 2 beautiful Gen Zs.
Yes.
Yeah, and they're just like, they're like, yeah, there's a forum. They can say it too, that, yeah, they don't believe relevant should be out, but then they said there's some of their, you know, their counterparts that believe that I could dress professionally and have my belly button out, so.
Yeah, I don't know, it's just a new wave, and I've just been noticing it, I feel so old every time.
They have pictures in professional, department stores, so.
That's what I mean, it's very confusing to me, but I'm a millennial, so that's probably why I
We're
think
like,
that.
how did we start talking about midterms?
I'm like, I'm just using this as an opportunity as your team leader to be like, I'm not a fan of that. Dress as your brand, but does everybody recognize this triangle? Who here doesn't know what this triangle is? It's okay, it's okay. So as your team leader, I'm gonna be making sure that you do understand the models and where they come from, which is the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. If you read the first half of the book and you just skip the second half for now, if you're newer to the business, the first half is gonna teach you everything you need to know to run a successful business. The second half is if you want to scale and grow your own team. So that just took out like 100 pages that you have to read. But when we talk about the foundations of those models, it came down to 3 things, which is leads, listings, and leverage. The beautiful thing about focusing your business on getting listings is listings make babies. So if you run an open house correctly, you should be getting additional leads. 1 to 3 leads per listing that you get, you should be generating for your business. How to do that is by leveraging your listings to make sure it's win-win for the seller and you to generate more leads, and that's through your marketing. So just because a house might sell in 24 hours, I want to caution you with skimping out on your marketing. I'm hearing that more and more. So I'm going to be like hammering this home for a while. Just because your listings sell fast, it doesn't mean you skip your marketing plan. Your marketing plan, although it can help get more money for your seller, it's really about putting more money in your pocket.
So I'm gonna be driving that one home for a while. You're gonna see this triangle a lot. Listings also provide leverage because you make more money per hour working on a listing than a buyer. Does anybody understand why? Andrew, can you explain?
Well, I mean, with a buyer, you have to drive around, you're probably going to multiple showings. With the listing, you're just kind of, you're just going in there, you know, obviously talking to them a little bit, but you're sticking a sign in the yard if you end up doing an open house. It just nets out to a lot less time with a listing than you are with your buyer's hour.
And your time is in the things that actually make you money, which is going on appointments, negotiating, marketing, lead generation,
1000%.
versus the hundreds of homes that you might have to show with buyers. Now, when you're first in the business, when you get buyers from your listings, you have to service those too, but that's great because it's gonna help put more money in your pocket. But eventually you can elevate, build a team, and have somebody else work the buyers for you, and that's where more of that leverage comes in. So just remember, listings make babies. Don't skip the marketing plan just because the house will sell fast. Make sure that you line up your listing, so that way, when it goes live, you can still run the full marketing plan. And even when it goes under contract, you can still market that property. So that way you can continue to capture leads off of that property.
Not only that, I mean, there's no guarantee it's gonna close until it closes. So we're always working to make sure that we have it in front of somebody that potentially could buy it.
Yeah, who here's had a closing fall apart at the table?
Yes.
It happens. Not a good day, but it does happen, so I love it.
And the MREA is on Audible, for those who don't want to read.
Say that again.
The MREA is on Audible.
Brittany will push you to actually get the book though, because of the.
I read
Because of the graphic.
Like, I read
Speaking from
along,
experience.
yeah. And you get the spiral bound,
Yeah,
so
the
it's not
reference.
paperback.
Yeah.
So I have all of that, but I'm just saying, for those hesitant,
You know,
because I was,
if you have the regular one, you can take it to Staples and they'll cut the binding off of it and spiral bound it for you for like $8. We'll do that for any book.
yeah,
Anybody,
so,
yeah.
thanks for calling me out, but I'm.
Borderline illiterate, so like, I
I do, no, I have like reading comprehension, because I can do something with my hands while I'm listening to it, a lot of times I cut the grass, and I'll listen to like the same thing for like over again, like to make it make sense or make it sink in, so it's, you know, decidable.
Also, if you get the need to know emails, at the very bottom is a BG coaching corner. So my videos, I try to keep them under 3 minutes. Starting next month, they'll be under a minute, and I'm actually gonna do a millionaire real estate agent model in a minute.
Oh, wow.
I'm not gonna be able to go super deep, but I'm at least gonna give you enough to where you'll understand the concept. So that's my goal. So just follow that too, and go to events like Mega Agent Camp, because you're gonna see the models on steroids. Even if you don't do the giant open house, I can tell you, you're gonna get something to implement that will at least get you more deals that more than justify the cost that it is to go. So
I loved what Melissa shared about having the blank buyer agency agreements there. And just that opportunity that provides you to come from contribution for them. Like you're providing them, whether they use you or not,
Right.
they're always going to remember. She explained this to me, like
And-
she helped me.
Yeah.
And I just, like, I think that's great.
Well, I started doing that when I realized a lot, more than half of the people that were coming to some of our open houses were meeting their Zillow agent. And they meet at open houses because they don't have to talk paperwork, because you don't have to have a signed buyer agency to go into an open house. So that's when I was like, and then they
Yes.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
you don't have to have a buyer agency at an open house. You have to have everything else unless you have the listing agent show you.
Which is why I did the double open houses, because we had houses for sale in Maryland, and the agent was doing multiple open houses like every other week. And he kept meeting agents who were meeting buyers there, who had just like got a phone call and started talking. I don't know if they were Zillow or not, but, and so he was just having a lot of foot traffic from that. So that's why, another reason why I did the double, because I thought, like that was very popular.
Yeah, it's the easiest way without signing, like, if you can have a conversation, somebody calls you for a lead over the phone and they go, hey, you know, I wanna see this house, but they don't wanna sign it, like, okay, well, I see there's an open house from 1 to 3, let's meet then.
I still have like a sign.
Make it
fire.
so complicated.
I don't
Have a sign to non-fire.
I was about to say, as a team leader, I just don't recommend that strategy.
No.
I think, yeah, but that's why I take the blank ones, so like, hey, if we don't work together and or once you meet your Zillow agent, here, this paperwork's gonna come in front of you, at least you got to see it first.
Yeah, come prepared
Before
with
you're in a
questions.
tense situation of like, sign or don't sign, and then you don't get to see a house. Or we use the term like, they could lock you in for 6 months, and they might not let you out. Chances are they probably will, however, you need to understand the possibility, they could put a date in there and be like, well, now what?
Love it. Well, thank you all.
Thank you.
Make sure you fill this out. So in the next 24 hours, you implement your one thing. If you don't implement in the next 24 hours, you're least likely to implement anything at all. And education is just entertainment without implementation. Thank you. Thank you all. Yes, thank you, ladies.
Yeah.
Like, survived.
No, that's like, well, sure, but sure, they, are like, hey, you wanna ask?